Hello friends, this is Tony the Science Space Rocker of the planet Earth, back with another video today. It's a Sunday fun day, and it happens to be the last Sunday of this month. So we're going to be talking about something beautiful. And it's a nice sunny day, and even though it's windy, it's still beautiful. And going along with the series that we have for this month on self-awareness, we're going to be talking about something that has to do with it, but it's not like self-something. It's a term that's very important, and it's part of self-awareness. And this term for today is called contemplation. Contemplation. What are you talking about, Tony? Contemplation. Well, contemplation by definition, and you don't have to write this down, it's everywhere on the internet, is the act of focused, steady, and deep observation and consideration of concept, object, or spiritual reality. So basically, contemplation goes very deep into observing, focusing on something, whether it is an object, a concept, or a spiritual reality. And how many times have we really contemplated something? In this day and age where nobody has time for anything, everybody's so busy and they think they're busy, but basically their mind is running 1,000 miles an hour. They have all this stuff to do and nowhere to go. People running like they're rat in the cage, going this way. And so, I'm sure you heard the term, wake up and smell the coffee. Well, that's very true. Wake up and smell the coffee. But how can you smell the coffee if it hasn't been made? Contemplation goes beyond any single thing. Just the other day, I was outside in the backyard, and those things they call weeds, they're coming out everywhere. In the backyard. But along the weeds, sometimes you get a surprise. But you have to be aware of it. And I was reading an article that said, among all the weeds that you're gonna get, you might get a 200-year-old flower. So all those people that kill the weeds are killing a one-time 200-year-old in the past little flower. And then along, I saw all these little weeds coming up, and I saw this little beautiful yellow flower that I never seen in my life. And I was wondering, is this what those experts are talking about? So I started contemplating the weed with the little flower on the top. It was a little yellow flower in a different shape that I never seen in my life. And they were all over the place. And I said, I'm not gonna kill these weeds because I'm gonna contemplate the little yellow flowers that I've never seen in my life, because they might be a 200-year-old flower that was there 200 years before, but just happened to pop up again. Functions as intentional pause to move beyond the habitual thoughts, judgments, or personal biases to gain insight of awareness. It functions as intentional pause. Intentional pause. So contemplation can go beyond just looking at something. It's the deep focus and concentration on an object, a concept, or a spiritual reality. And when it comes to spiritual realities, it might have to do with nature. Because what I was just describing about the 200-year-old weed that's brought up a yellow flower, sometimes is mistaken for a spiritual reality. But like always, I have a example to give you. And this is a real example. Being from down here, down in the Delta, in the deep south of the United States, muggy, we have something called hurricanes. We have huge hurricanes. Katrina, for example. We had Katrina. But there was another little hurricane that I decided to ride out. Big mistake. I know, big mistake. Was without power for weeks. This little hurricane, it's called Hurricane Zeta, with a Z. Zeta. And I decided to stay. And along the way, I didn't lose my Wi-Fi on my cell phone. So I said, well, I'm going to write it out, so I'm just going to get it recorded. Record this hurricane until I lose power. And that's what I did. If you want to go back, it's in there in one of my videos on the Space Rocker, the Planet Earth channel. But that's not what I want to tell you. What I want to tell you is that you contemplate a spiritual greatness once you're in the middle of the eye of the hurricane. See, because the hurricane passes, but you have a 20 to 30 minute gap, and that's called the eye of the hurricane. In the eye of the hurricane, there's no wind, there's no rain, there is nothing. It's clear as daylight. And if it's sunny and it's during the day, the sun comes through the eye of the hurricane. Even though there is chaos in the wall of the eye of the hurricane, and you experience it the first time, then you're in the eye, and nothing's happening. It's sunny for about 20-30 minutes, and then you experience the other side of the eye when it moves, and chaos starts all over again. Because the eye might be going at 120, 130, maybe 150 miles an hour. And the eye wall, that wall, is what was banging you. And since I had Wi-Fi and I never lost it, I could see it on the radar right there that we were in the eye of the hurricane. And the people that stayed behind, just like me, they all went to the street and experienced a magnificent view. See, in the eye of the hurricane, you could see the edge of the wall. And sometimes it turns purple, and sometimes it's like a circle. When you look up, it's a circle. It's a circle. And you look up and you can see the circle. And it's like orange color, yellow color, purple color. It changes color. But you can see the whole eye in the middle of the hurricane. Nothing's happening. But a lot is happening outside the eye wall. And it's a magnificent view. It was very risky to do this. The hurricane was going at about 130, 140 miles an hour on the eye wall. And we were all outside. And for the people that didn't know, they were from out of town, I was trying to explain to them. I said, listen, this is only going to last 20 minutes. You got to go back in your house. You know, I was telling all my neighbors, I was warning them, because this is not my first rodeo, you know. So I was warning my friends, my neighbors, and they say, no. I said, you see, look up. Can you look up? You see that edge circle all around us? That's the eye of the hurricane. And it was like God sent. But about 20, 25 minutes later, the rain started coming back up. The wind started to bang again. And it was even worse. Because we were like in the fourth quadrant. And it lasted for hours. Just the banging, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, please, do not take my roof. Please, God, do not take my roof. And luckily, it didn't take my roof. But that's what I'm talking about. You want to contemplate something? Take the time to do it. There's many wonders in this world that we just miss because we're too busy with other stuff. that's not really relevant to the actual human experience and to actual life. Contemplation is something we should do every now and then. And with this one, I want to say hi to everybody. I want to say hi to all the people around the world that follow my music and follow my videos. I know who you are, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Like I said, all this month we're going to be talking about self-awareness and all the little terms that go with it. And it just so happens today, on a beautiful Sunday, fun day, we're talking about contemplation. This is Tony DeSan, space rocker of the planet Earth, still living in this beautiful planet called today with the message of contemplation. Wake up and smell the flowers. I'll see you on my next video.